Yuan, Tong, Ming. Today we started with what song should we start today when already in the Chi field building process and the free flow development of the whole class. It's time for Tong Yuan love today. So what song other than the Beatles, All You Need Is Love? It has happened. We have our first volunteer for the experiment. It might be a bit strong because it's not really an experiment for me, but it's maybe a bit of an experiment in this format to do it with all of you together, to do an individual class with all of you together. This will happen in accordance with the amazing free flow of the universe and us free flowing with the Chi field of this web class, and obviously the universe supporting us. I'm just astonished again, working on the pattern, the urge to control, which is one of the 20 patterns that I think you have all received. If you have asked me for them, not many people have actually asked me for sending them the handouts for the 10 fundamental patterns and the description of the 20 behavioral patterns of the consciousness. As well, I have a little bit of details about Ling Yuan that I have prepared for you as a handout, so you can reread what we have worked through last week. And also I have made the table of the 10 fundamental patterns, which is maybe something we could call the quick look, a quick look that you can put on your fridge or on your desk where you work or beside your bed, and that when a pattern comes up, you have them always handy. Me personally, I have the patterns on all my devices, on my iPad, on my computer, on my iPhone. And when I need to have access to one of those patterns, because I am somewhere out and about, or in nature, or shopping even, and a pattern jumps up and I become aware of it through Ming Yuan, the 9th method, and the observation, then sometimes I need to have access to the replacement information, or I need to have details about it, because when we are in a pattern, that's sometimes when we can't think straight or clearly. We're in the emotion also that brings along, or that comes along with the pattern, or we're in the pattern of thinking or behavior. And so it's good to have these informations very present at all times, no matter how often you read them, which again, I will recommend to you to read and reread the patterns as often as possible, basically similar to Tong Yuan, to keep listening to Tong Yuan as much as possible to strengthen those 5 Shin qualities, those 5 heart qualities. So before we can practice a little bit of Ling Yuan, I need you to prepare yourself a little bit. Someone is having their microphone on. Please, everybody turning off their microphone, please. Thank you. So I need you to read those patterns for you, not for me, but actually we'll talk about this a little bit today. So you will do that for everybody, actually, a little bit in some way. Knowing about the patterns is, well, crucial for a healthy and happy life, especially crucial for a life in freedom. And one person in freedom, in peace, in happiness, in health, is one person less creating havoc out there with and through their unhealthy patterns. So the more people, the merrier. The more the merrier, literally. I've of course digressed again, so I'm going to come back to the volunteer and the free flow of the chi field. As it happens, next week on Saturday, well, for us in Europe, it's Saturday night. For you people, it's Saturday. You in the US, it's in the Saturday afternoon. And for people in New Zealand or Australia, it's in Sunday mornings. But anyway, one day before the free flow web class, Yuan is holding his Be the Master of Your Own State workshop on calm. And so we will deepen in our web class the calm, and we will do Gong Ching in Tong Yuan, the seventh method. And then we have all the 2 stages in the chi field. So then there's a lot of very strong and very beneficial replacement information present. And then it is wonderfully safe to start doing another aspect of this web class, which will be the helping us all together, helping each other through observing and participating in an individual one-on-one class, session, a chi healing session, a totality healing session. For that, there's no structure yet. All I know is that we will start with one person that you will then hear her voice. You will not see her, but you will hear her voice. And we will then work all together in helping her and helping us. I don't know. So this will happen the week after Gongqing. So today in 2 weeks, we have basically built the chi field up until now and made sure that everything that we need to do this work safety and to minimize reactions for all of us as little to the minimize to make it as little as possible. So that work is then, so to speak, done up and including next week with Gongqing. And then we can free flow into this aspect of the class. It probably won't always be individual one-on-one work, but yeah, I don't have a concept or a structure about that yet. So we will just start, and in that moment when we start, we will see where it will bring us. Anyway, I have to admit, I'm a little bit excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that part of this class, and I'm really intrigued and interested in observing the process and also the results, the ramifications of the law of cause and effect and its developing relationship. It will be interesting to observe, especially those aspects, the law of the process of development and the law of cause and effect, also the law of unification and opposition, and the law, one of the other laws of Tao is that it all can be changed, and also that it's non-selective. These are all laws of Tao, the laws of the universe. The Tao of Tao, we call it in Renshu, which comes from the theory of totality. And we'll look into those laws also with time. So I have had this idea, as I told you in the first web class, and then I never actually have, asked you to volunteer any further because I have been practicing for myself. Right now, I am practicing action within non-action, which is another law of the universe, where you work on your heart, your Shin Ling, your heart consciousness, and the 5 Shin, the 5 essential qualities of the heart, to strengthen them. And when there is a certain amount of trust, what will happen is that you can be more and more in the here and now, and the pattern of the urge to control loses less and less grip on you. What does that mean? So you have the handouts. There is a very detailed description about the urge to control in there. I think it's number 13 of the 20 patterns. But the numbers and me don't go too well together. So, but you have it all there. My handouts are very well organized. There is first the numbers and all the names, a listing, and then there is a 2-page description of every pattern and the fundamental pattern as well. The list of the names first, and then a several pages description of each fundamental of the 10 patterns. The other 5 patterns that we have, so we basically have very detailed descriptions about 35 human fundamental patterns. The other 5 actually become apparent, very apparent, through listening to Tong Yuan, the 7th method. Yeah, so when you listen to love, which we will do today, which yes, we have done in the first class, but we only have done the 2nd stage because that one was fitting the most and setting the precedent for all the future classes, however many free flow Yuan Ming classes there will be, because hey, all you need is love. So that was just happening naturally during the web class. I didn't really know what to read, but while I was talking, I knew today we have to do Tong Yuan, the 2nd stage at that first class. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing the 1st and the 2nd stage of Tong Yuan, love. So letting things happen, action within non-action, or the action resulting from non-action, is the natural free flow in the universe when you're not constantly attached or held, or I always call it the prisoner, or being tortured, being kidnapped by the patterns of the consciousness in their unhealthy qualities. That means that basically you put your intention and then you go into a sort of state of disattachment, free flow, I like to call it, in being very aware about the 5th of the fundamental patterns, fixed expectations, preconceptions, false assumptions, and taking things for granted, which is an intriguing pattern. You know, that you have your own ideas about how something should develop, how something should be, or how something should not be. And the more you work on your patterns and the more you manage to free yourself, the free flow can appear within your life. And it appears in all sorts of forms. So you put your intention out there, do not attach to the outcome, and then things happen or they don't. If they don't happen, they're probably not supposed to happen according to the laws of the universe and according to the great love and wisdom of the universe. So once there's enough trust established, then you get to experience that law. You get to experience that free flow. And that will keep growing, this keeps growing. And as long as you or we are not enlightened, that is something that will not always be a case, but more and more and more if you keep working with your patterns, on your unhealthy patterns. And so having trust in the chi field, so the overall Renshe chi field, the global chi field, actually the overall chi field of the universe, and the chi field of the web class, Yuan Ming free flow, which actually are all one. I thought I'll put it out there, and if the idea is being embraced, it'll happen. And so now it happened. This week I got a sign up, a volunteer, and it just happened naturally. So we will see how that will go. But now we come back to today, and we come back to also from the future, basically coming into the here today, and what we're going to look at today. So as I was building the chi field this week over, which is sort of a constant or continuous process, as soon as I manage to be aware. It's basically happening throughout the day, every day. It's also happening throughout the night, partially. It all started off with a feedback, actually. So I'm going to be reading you the feedback. So the interactive part of the class keeps happening, and then you can see what I will be talking about today. The information we put together into the chi field has happened to become. Is that right in English? How it has become manifest. So I'm going to leave out a few things. It's a long email. I'm not editing it really. I just take out one area. Over the course of my life, I have developed many ways of tuning into others, adapting, etc. So thanks to the web class, I think I'm deep into the patterns of approval seeking, and this has not been obvious to me. So thanks to the web class, he became aware of that. And the pattern work and the whole Rinche work, of course. It has not been obvious to me, and I think that's because it's less about others approving of me and more of a fear of them disapproving me. I have this feeling of responsibility that who I am and what I do is affecting the world. And it is like I have been desperately trying to control this. I fear that I would be the reason for others for others' pain and suffering. So for the pain and suffering of others. I hear this something now in my memories. So here comes the name of the person who's written this. So the name, and then you are reckless. The name, and have you thought about how your actions affect this or this person? It is not very clear, Andrea, but I'm getting closer, I think. When I think about it, I get a little bit tense. How in the world am I gonna stop tuning in, listening and feeling other people around me? How am I gonna be able to just be me and not think about how it will affect others so much? I have always felt I'm a bit too much for the world to handle. I feel sad as I'm writing this. I'm too loud, too happy, laughing too much, and so on. To the degree that I have experienced other people physically restraining me. Like pulling my head back and grabbing my hair and threaten to throw me off a balcony if I don't quiet down. This happened at a teenage party, so it was not very close. So I was not very close to this person. There are many other memories as well, of course. It was just one example. So, hearing this, how do you feel now? Or what did happen while you were listening to someone else's experiences, someone else's sharing? Have you been thinking about that? Have you the same questions in your heart? Or has this made you aware of something that you have not been aware before? Have you maybe even felt that you and him, the writer of this email, have a lot of things in common? Have maybe come up some thoughts or some past experiences similar to this inside of you? So there is a lot of information in that little tiny email that we can look at. Mm. So if you've seen the picture in the beginning of the web class that I've made for the web class, or I've also put it on Instagram, on Facebook, and it's in the email sent out to announce this class. If you're on that list, if you're not on that list and you would like to be put on that list, please go ahead and send me an email. The email address is standing right there. Webclass renjeux@gmail.com. Or if you would like to send in such questions, go ahead, feel free. They inspire me. They are more than inspiration, actually. They are how I can connect with the chi field and feel what the chi field needs, what you out there need. Because what you out there need in the chi field is what we humans need. So let's look at this a little bit. We have already heard quite a few things in only today's only web class number 6, right? But we've already have had quite a bit of an experience, or we've heard some shared experiences, partially of mine, but also of others, how we seem to be picking up each other's things, each other's informations. And if you're in the Ren Shui field and you have contact to several people, then this is certainly something you probably will have become aware of. That we humans pick up on information. Information is coming in continuously and constantly and ubiquitously, meaning from everywhere. So how can we deal with this when certainly not all of the information seems to be super beautiful and nice and awesome and comfortable? I'm saying seems to be because who makes that distinction? What part of us is making that distinction that some things seem to be hurtful and some things seem to be yummy and wonderful? Well, it's the false self. It is that part of our consciousness that discerns mathematically only, information-wise only. It's not the true self and the heart in a good state of consciousness, in a good state of being. It is the patterns, the unhealthy patterns of the consciousness forming that false self, that false identity. And in this case, there is certainly, well, definitely polarized thinking involved. There is also the fixed expectation, taking things for granted, preconceptions and false assumptions involved. There is also the pattern greed involved. The pattern of self-centeredness is involved. And so I have promised someone I've actually gotten 2 at least emails about, please talk a bit more about victimhood. And the surprise how that comes from self-centeredness. So I don't know if you've had time already to look into, to read the fundamental pattern of self-centeredness. Maybe you feel inspired to do this after this web class. Maybe don't do it now. I'll talk about the important things that we need now, so you don't need to go into reading mode. So who is discerning what information or that information could be harmful, could be dangerous, could be unpleasant, could be painful, could be hurtful? Information that we think we need to resist. And what will that do to us? So last week we have been connecting with the chi field of openness, the heart quality of openness. And now, of course, it's probably more apparent to you if you have done this practice, maybe throughout the week as well. Listening to Tong Yuan openness makes it all very apparent, very clear what is missing when we are not having our heart and our mind, our consciousness, when we're not open to the universe and for information to come in. But as long as we have the unhealthy patterns discerning to make information into dangerous, hurtful, harmful, having to get away from information or situations, since information creates and manifests situations, as we've learned 2 sessions back, then How do we deal with this when the patterns make it into that? And then it just feels like that. It feels harmful. It feels hurtful. It feels damaging. And this gives rise to fears. Fears close up our heart and openness is gone. And then what results, or what a further result of that cause would be that then our pores close down, our chi field closes down, not just the heart. Then we can't receive the chi anymore that actually keeps coming in from the universe. And we also can't receive the healthy information that comes in from the universe. So, in other words, you are like a cell phone that is not plugged in anymore. And eventually, we run out of juice, out of energy, out of a good state, out of love, out of the ability to feel others, we run out of the ability to connect with others because it seems dangerous. It seems scary. And our mind, the false self will definitely tell you, yeah, you have been there, this is not just it seems. What is Andrea talking about? It's not that it seems to be dangerous. I have had this experience. A stranger, like in the email, a stranger didn't like the way I behaved and threatened me, actually was violent towards me and threatened me to throw me off the balcony. It's also a topic that the Chi field really has asked for, because isn't that what keeps going on currently? Um, um, all the racism, for example, is one example. Well, there's still wars going on. But we don't have to go that far, do we? We can actually go simply within ourselves and see ourselves or aspects of victimhood. So, what is victimhood? Yes, I've mentioned it a few times now with one word, self-centeredness. It's a result from the pattern self-centeredness. So, simply said, it is because when we are a victim, we see things only from one perspective. And because we see it from that perspective only, and with that self-centeredness, that only my perspective, this is when we start identify with, this shouldn't be this way, this isn't supposed to happen, this is not respectful, this is hurtful, this has hurt me. I have the physical injuries to prove from it, I have the emotional injuries to prove from it, to prove it. I have I have the feeling, or I, I think I have lost something in that situation, or I have not received something because of that and this. And so we don't see it from the perspective that we've talked about 2 classes back, when we talked about the actual opposite. So we've talked about how we radiate things out, remember? How our patterns make us think and feel a certain way, and sometimes, often, of course, deep inside, because of the avoiding and hiding pattern. So we're not even aware that something is going on, or because it's either hidden from us, that we have not yet become aware of that, so we haven't realized some things. And on the other hand, the hiding and avoiding mechanism is trying to keep it away from us so we don't feel the pain of that past experience anymore, that we have experienced in that moment when we were fully attached and identified with the I that hurts. So that being that seems to feel the pain, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, that seems to feel that lack of something, lack of safety, lack of things, lack of food, lack of nurturing, lack of love, lack of respect, lack of being needed, lack of trust. I could go on forever, but you get the drift, right? Let's have a look. Before I go on, I'm going to paint something. So let's say, how is that working? Here we go. I would like to make it a bit less thick. Ah, there it is. So let's say this, if you can see, if you can open your eyes a little bit, if you like. So let's say this is the universe and all in it, right? So basically there's chi everywhere and there's no real chi is everywhere, yeah? And it also is coming in here, but I don't want to draw that now. Because otherwise I'll fill up the space. So that's all there is. That's the farthest place. That's the biggest space, the universe. Everything is in this one room. Universe, one room. Huh? And so let's say that you are in here, the person. Okay, let me change this up. I don't know how. Here we go. So there's the chi person. I don't want to just make a stick figure because then you guys start thinking like a stick figure. You are a chi field, right? So, and then there is other people around you. I'm just going to make dots now. Yeah. So there's other people around you and they all do things. They might be doing things that hurt. They might be saying things that hurt. They might be doing things that they're not unaware that you find are stupid, or they might be in the state of hate, etc., etc., etc. And then there might be a whole group of that who create a bigger chi field, and that information is coming in this way. There might be something that happens on the whole planet Earth. Oh, maybe, hold on. There might be something that happens on the whole planet Earth. And all of that's coming in to you. Yeah, so the hundreds monkey. When there is many people feeling something, it is very strong information and it's coming in this way. What can we do to not identify with all of this unhealthy information? How can we keep our hearts open? How can we do that? Well, when we work with the pattern of self-centeredness, and actually when we work with all the patterns, but in this case, we're going to pick one out. When we become aware of the self-centeredness, that when I see they, and they must be doing something wrong, then when they do something wrong, they are doing something wrong towards me. Because who is discerning that they're doing something wrong? Your identifications, right? Your own patterns say, no, this shouldn't be this way, or this is hate, and hate is not supposed to be. So, in other words, we forget all the totality around it, the whole universe around it. We don't think about how has this person become to be this way? How can someone become hateful? How can someone become, um, a person that has the need or the desire to hurt others? Or even, how can a person be so reactive that things happen, even so that person didn't want to hurt someone and still is doing it? Ask yourself, if you like, is that person sometimes you? Are we ourselves these persons who hurt people knowingly or unknowingly? The pattern of fighting for dominance and the desire for victory, which is number 10 of the fundamental patterns in Renshu, is really intriguing. It seems to be always on the go. And where does it come from? So it comes from way beforehand, when there weren't many humans on planet Earth, and when we didn't have many tools yet and not many comforts yet. We were living in caves or simple dwellings. We didn't have, tools to make good, safe dwellings, and we didn't know a lot about nature either. So we didn't know a lot about other humans, and especially there were so little humans in the world that once we did meet them, other than the 10, 30, 50 people from our clan that we do know while we were growing up, we have never seen another human being. And all you had was your feet. We didn't even have horses then yet for a while that you could ride. So everything had to be done by foot. And so can you imagine a world like this, where also a lot of animals were living who were able to take our physical lives? They weren't behind zoo bars, they weren't in national parks, they were just running around like this. So to survive, we had to fight, we had to be dominant, maybe. And over 200,000 of years, our brain cells have been fed from the information of that stored in chi, because chi is the material that a baby is being built from. yeah, where the cells in the womb, first chi comes into the sperm and the egg of the woman and man, and then they connect, and then a baby is being built from constant adding of chi, and that results in the cell reproduction. This is at least how we see it in Ren Shui. And so the information comes first, and every experience from every lifetime, from every human ever lived, you don't even, if you're not yet completely free flowing with the concept that we see as a reality in Ren Shui, you know, that we live one life after another, and you know, we go from physical existence to non-physical consciousness existence, and then back to physical existence again in a constant change. Then you can just see it as the other people before you have also had experiences, right? So where do you come from? You come from your parents. And where do your parents come from? From those parents. No matter if you've lived with them or not, you definitely come from two people. And you know, and so you can go back and back and back. So how far do we go back? Well, we go back to, you know, those humans who came slowly out of the whole transformation, mutation, um, process of gathering experiences, gathering information being stored and retained within Qi, within Shen, within that Qi field of that person. And then when the person, you know, when dissolves and goes back to be consciousness again without the body, it still is retained, all of the information. Next time that person is being injected into a physical human life, then the information is still there. So all of those fundamental patterns, actually the 35 are actually the fundamental patterns. That information affects you already, influences you already. And so you might have fears that you might not have any explanation for, but it's information that came from outside and that now constantly basically bombards you. It's not really information that comes from outside, but it's information that affects your true state. Your relaxed, calm, and natural state is affected by the information that is stored within the brain neurological pathways, which we call the patterns of the consciousness. Well, not only the brain nerves, you know, so they also form a chi field. It's information in itself, but it's held within the physical structures of the brain nerves. Again, it's a totality, but this information is present within you and it influences you. So, and then information is coming from other manifestations around you, like we've seen in the picture, right? So other beings, other situations, other places, other times, other time lives. All, actually, from all, everywhere, all the time. And your being actually processes all of that, because who are you? This is the question. So who is the self? And this is how the pattern of self-centeredness forms, right? So you are being injected. Then you grow in the womb of that person that you are currently growing in. Your cells divide and eventually the brain forms and then the organs form. And, you know, so all your body forms and eventually awareness forms. My brother is currently pregnant with his wife, and his son came to visit me the other day in Yuan practice. He just came to say hi and asked me to tell them he looks forward to meeting them. So that was a great message to bring to my brother, who is not living or yet understanding things this way, or he doesn't see things this way that we do in Renshö. And I was like, oh, that's a great job now, baby, thank you. But it was a very cute little experience. It was very clear for me, I was in a deep unified state of Xinling and Shen Yi. And so he asked me to tell them to please love him unconditionally. Uh, and so, well, I thought this was a great opportunity for me to work on my hiding and avoiding of, that so-called weird experiences, which are just normal, special experiences, receiving through, not the sensory abilities. Okay, let's go back to the womb. Sorry. That's just the information just flew this way. So you're growing and you're becoming aware. You're becoming aware of the warmth inside the womb. You're becoming aware of maybe the liquidy thing, the floaty sort of sensation. As you start feeling, you are starting to hear the voices of the humans that are a lot around this pregnant person. You of course become aware of the heartbeat of the person that you're in, etc., etc., etc. So you keep growing, and then and then something happens. And what's happening at some stage? I mean, who knows what's all happening while you actually experience all this? Are the parents actually in love? Is the mother experiencing a lot of stroking, a lot of comfort, a lot of happiness? Is she experiencing a lot of fear? Is there a lot of fighting going on? Is she maybe in danger? Has she been in an accident? All of the states of the mother constantly already influence you. So here we are again with the information coming your way, and you are just growing, and your awareness is growing, and you start to realize things on certain levels. And then you go on, and all of a sudden it becomes very dry in there. All the water floaty feeling goes away, and your whole world starts pushing in on you, pressing you through a tiny little channel. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe all of a sudden there is light coming in through a stream, and people, something, you don't know yet what, grabs you and pulls you out, and I don't know, So anyway, can you imagine, have you ever thought about this, being a baby and being squished out through the tiny little birthing channel? Like, it must be painful in some way to be squished through this thing, um, but maybe you don't experience it as pain yet, but maybe you do. So that might depend on what have you experienced so far in your discovering and building mind. Has your mother been a lot in fear, or has she been in bliss throughout the whole pregnancy? Has she been loved for and cared for, etc., etc., etc.? So what is the state you have gotten to know? And how did you even get into that womb? Exactly that womb that you're in, that you have these experiences. Who did this to you? So then you're being squished out, and then you start to experience, well, a different type of light. You experience a different type of something, air, which you haven't experienced before, and you experience maybe breathing, because beforehand you were fetal breathing, and maybe you experience cold or heat from lamps, or maybe you experience the immediate skin of mothers, which is happening more and more today. I would say thank the universe for that. The babies are being put on the chest of the mother right away. Um, but maybe there is some medical attention necessary because of the law of cause and effect has already grown you in a different way inside the womb, or the birth was, for whatever reasons, hundreds, millions of possible reasons, that the birth was a certain kind of way. And so you experience all of this, and you are storing that information, or this information is being stored through the mechanisms of the universe. Retainment, as we've heard, is one of the human natural qualities. So information is being retained. And so on and on it goes. So you start discover yourself through sound, through hearing, through feeling, through taste, through smells, and all the experiences resulting from that. So you start to experience yourself differently than before when you were collective consciousness. And now you're kind of restrained, or put into this certain space that you start to identify with, of course, because your vision is developing, you start seeing things, maybe you start seeing colors, and everything you're learning, and more neurological pathways are being built. And at the same time, everything you experience through self. So this is how your self identification becomes manifest, becomes to be. You are becoming the things you are experiencing because your body gives you the possibility to experience things. Without the body, you can't feel, you can't touch, you can't smell. Yes? So, can you see how self-centeredness is actually a very natural and normal part of the process in and through your growing up? You relate everything to self. With time, you even start to relate, let's say it like this, better said. So in the beginning, you just experience, but because you experience this through your body, you start identifying very strongly with what we call the body. And then when you grow up with parents who are not enlightened, meaning they don't know about the totality, they don't know about them being the universe, being one with all, they don't experience and live oneness and unification and harmony. They experience fear of death. They experience the need for food. They experience all the lack thereof because the oneness is missing. So in the end, all the suffering, we could simplify it for a moment here, being aware to not use the pattern of overgeneralization to oversimplify everything, but for now we can use it for a moment. All the suffering actually comes from the identification of the lacking the oneness. So the state of enlightenment makes you so happy because you are one. You're not lacking anything. You're in a state of full trust and gratitude continuously, of Guangqing and openness. So you know that you're receiving everything from the universe, that the universe supplies you with everything you need. And so there's no lack, there's no sense of lack. There's also no sense of pain because you're not locked into this pattern of self-centeredness anymore. So hence, because you're the universe, and you're not only identifying with the body that you did when you were a child, you don't identify with suffering anymore, you don't attach to it anymore, which is where I want to get to actually, with the attaching to information coming from everywhere. There was a post of Yance about openness the other day. Um, and he's written about, he asked us, what makes you think that you have to close up your heart and your chi field and your shen so you don't receive all the information coming from others anymore? So as far as I received information, he was working on the chi field due to all the hate, due to the momentary topic of racism going around the world. And which is actually, it actually is growing in a big degree more than ever. And sometimes that means that the opposition forces come back a bit stronger again. But we can see that everywhere, you know, human rights are growing. Lots of work is still needed, but human rights and ethnic rights and human understanding is growing. So love is actually growing. But of course, not everybody is there yet. Too many people are in a lot of fear and hence very insecure and hence in very strong patterns of defense and protection and have no access to love and have not had anybody around them telling them you are safe. They have not experienced being held, being supported, being stroked, being loved, being helped, being given food, maybe even, or, you know, they have maybe experienced abuse, they have experienced a lot of hurt through the self, and every single thing strengthens self-centeredness. And in a way, this is, can you see now how victimhood develops? How through being self-centered, it's not this big bad word, this big bad quality, you know, you are selfish, you are self-centered, you're awful. No, not at all. It's very normal and natural to have become self-centered, because this is how you have found out about yourself. You have realized yourself as a body, as being what you are within the confines of that body only. But nobody told you about the universe. You haven't experienced the deep state of unification where Qing, the body, Qi, and the consciousness has become one yet. Maybe many people experience that, but not many people yet can explain it. So, like for example, for me, this is what happened to me. I've had these experiences since a very small baby. I don't know actually. I know it from a small child onwards, from 4, 5 onwards. This feeling, this state, not a feeling, a state of oneness. But nobody can explain it to you, maybe. So now comes another one of those human natural needs, you know, the qualities to having to belong and to find your place in your surroundings. And when there is no information this type coming along, then you start to identify it as maybe sick. This is what happened to me, as scary, as something that you need to get away from, that you need to avoid and hide from at all costs, because, you know, it makes you either a weirdo or it is dangerous, or it just makes you confused and scared. That's what happened to me. So information coming from outside and inside constantly bombarding you in a way, and you don't have oneness yet as knowing, as realization, as I know I'm the universe. I know I have lived many lives and I will live many lives again. I know there is no need to be scared of death. That part of your mind that rules you, the patterns of the consciousness that keep you as a puppet on strings, that is your identification, but your only identification. So it is a false identification. That's why we call the false self the false self, because it's the only identification. It's only one aspect out of many, 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 many aspects of totality. Yeah? So I am only whatever is within this body. Can you see? So, and because we only can identify with that part, we can only identify with the I. And so everything is being related from that smallish I, let's call it. Yeah. Because when you're self-realized, when you have experience of being the totality, being the universe, then you won't feel threatened by someone else, because you realize that someone else is also you. It's just a different aspect of you. And also, so that will create for you, or that will influence you. Sorry. So when you realize that the others are also you, that there's no distinction between that person, that your chi and that chi is always sort of, information, and that you are being a state of all. That means when you realize that, then you will not have to close up. And that means that you will be in the state of love, of gratitude, of openness, of empathy, of patience, of understanding. Then you will be able to think bigger. You know that there's this whole big universe with all these possibilities and all these different types of informations. There's so many possibilities. So you understand why that person is abusing you, raping you, hitting you, verbally throwing you stuff on the head, or simply ignoring you, disliking you, all of these sort of things. And then you will not have to close up your heart, so you will be able to stay in the state of love. And the more you will be able to be in the state of love, this is the state that is within you. And every information coming from outside, no matter where it comes from, will then turn into love when it comes inside of you. Can you see that? Yeah. So when you are in the state of love, and all of this is with the information of love, you can maybe feel like it's a swimming pool of love, it's a chi field of love, and other information is coming in, but love is the strong thing, understanding, empathy, creating, and this goes into you. This in here, it will turn into love. So that's why all you need is love, or the Wuxin. Actually, Gongqing. Gongqing is the composite unit of all Wuxin and all the positive heart qualities. So maybe we can ask Paul McCartney and I don't know who else, the remaining Beatles to make a song. All you need is Gongqing, dip dip diddy. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. So now, can you understand what I mean with or why victimhood comes from self-centeredness? Yeah. We are so practiced. We are such great, amazing masters in relating everything through this only and from this place only, in which we also can seemingly experience pain because nobody taught us as child to draw chi in when you have pain, so the pain is gone. Or actually even one step more, which is the only reason why we work with Qi, why we do Qigong, is to learn about this openness, to learn about the state of openness and the fluidity, to learn how to see Qi, to learn how to feel Qi, And also through learning and application, we get to experience to be Qi and to have the experience of openness. Have you had that maybe in Tin Yuan or in Di Yuan, when the body completely dissolves? It feels like everything becomes one, and you're not your body anymore only. You know that the body is still there, but you can't feel it because right now you are perceiving the world through different abilities, more total abilities. I've experienced that. If not, just keep practicing, it will happen. That's what the Ren Shi field and Yuan Gong is made for. All is made for you to have more and more experiences of that oneness. So you are building these patterns, these brain cells and brain nerves in which these experiences and that information can continuously roam around you, so that your realization, your state of being, your perception of self keeps changing. And with this, victimhood will keep changing. With this, self-centeredness will keep changing, because you will know what self is different. Hold on. You will know that yourself is something different than just this thing that can be hurt or that maybe dies and decays, just rots away in the earth or is being burned and then thrown around. You will know that you go on, that whatever is you actually is momentarily just, being put into this beautiful vessel, your body, that you can experience things and you can gather information and you can transform information. You can replace, change, and transform information. And you can do that through your heart and through learning and applying and experiencing more and more of this totality of being the universe, being one with everything. And the more you have that, the more you will be in this state, and then you will not send out the information of fear, will not be within you. And so the universe, you will not, because the fear is not in there, the insecurity is not in there, the sense of lack is not in there anymore. So then you will not radiate it out. It's not in there, so it won't be radiated out. And so the universe does not have to give you experiences for you to become aware of. Yeah. So once you realized self and what you truly are, you will not have the need, as the universe will not need to help you anymore to understand that there's no need to be scared of things to happen to you, because everything heals, everything changes, and as long as you are in the state of Wu Xin, in the state of love, as long as you give, no matter how dramatic it might seem what's happening to you or to others, when you are there in the state of understanding and respect and in the state of love, no matter what they do, you will send that out. And this will actually go into the others and it will influence the others. I've just had a little so there were some thoughts popping through my head. I don't know if you've observed a little halt in my speech, in my talking. I just had a memory of Janse saying, it was, I think, my very first retreat 12, 13 years ago. It was on a mountain, and he talked about, I think he was talking at martial arts at that time, actually, but you know how Janse always talks about totality. He's always connected with all of the universe. So he was not talking about Kung Fu actually at all, but he talked about well, if you want to fight me, I'm just going to lay down and say, you win. And I remember my thoughts from that 13 years ago. At that time, also having the experience of totality in little tiny glimpses, but not yet realized it, and also being scared of it, so really avoiding it, thinking it's something bad, difficult. I actually thought, I thought it's a mental sickness. It makes me laugh now. Then it was very scary. I mean, it wasn't funny at all, actually, for me as a child. But um, so because I didn't have that knowledge then, my mind went immediately to worst case scenario, which is, by the way, if you're interested, an aspect of the overgeneralization pattern. Worst case scenario. So I immediately went to the thought of, yeah, but which has been my experience of being punched by men and being hurt by men physically, what we call abuse by men, lying on the floor, and even so punched that I'm already lying on the floor and still being kicked. And even so other men wanted to help me, they were even punched away as well, so they disappeared. And then I was being dragged away into a car, and we were in a different country then, outside of my country then. And so I was being driven to a dark place, and I was pushed out of the car with the fist in my face, and without my passport, without blanket, nothing. And then he drove away, and I was just laying there bleeding on the floor. And this wasn't a random thing. This wasn't something that happened before. This was the first time, and it was the last time, but with that person, with that partner. But so that wasn't fun at all. That was very scary at that time. And so I immediately went to this feeling, the need to defend myself, and the immense fear I had while Janse was talking about that. If you want to fight, I lay down and you win. So this is obviously, can you see how self-centeredness and victimhood are working very close together with the pattern of greed, the balance of pleasure and pain, trying to get away from pain and getting more pleasure, more safety, and also, of course, the pattern of dominating, the um, the fighting for dominance and desire for victory. And I went through a state of where I was just hating that person, coming from fear and insecurity and from the feeling of being hurt. Now I just love him. That's all I have for him, love. Because, and this is now, here we come now to the conclusion. So what do we do when we're not enlightened? What do we do? What do we do with all that information bombarding us, coming our way, either physically or mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? Yeah. Do you actually know that your pain is your pain? Remember the experience I shared about having such severe headaches and not really knowing the reason for it? And then going into the state of trust and going, I will find out. And the next day, the beautiful soul has told me that that's what she went through. And so I knew, oh, wow, that's what I've been picking up on. I had identified with the pain until I went into the state of trust, and poof, the pain was gone. Do you remember? I don't know which web class, 2, 3, 4, I don't know. So identification, what do you identify with? What do you choose to identify with? Do you choose to identify with the pain in your body? Do you believe your patterns telling you this is chronic, it will never ever go away? Which is a choice. You can either choose to know about the law of the universe, that everything will change and every pain will heal. So do you choose to go into the state of trust like that? Or do you choose to go, this is painful, this is awful, this is hurtful, this is unfair, this is unjust, this is not supposed to be this way. It has happened, what are you going to do? Or are you going to choose go into the state of love, and are you going to choose, I wonder why that person has become this predator, this raging, hateful being that he or she has to hurt other people this way. Why does he or she have to feel themselves like that? So that's going into totality. That's stopping to identify with self. And this is what will help you with not feeling like a victim anymore. So compassion and love for others is what will put you in a state of love and compassion. And this is exactly what will radiate out. And this is when your outer world will change. So when I have been with the fifth or sixth man who treated me sort of that way or along those lines, and there's no need for you to send any unhappy or unhealthy information, revenge information or resentment, which by the way is a pattern of the 20 patterns, resentment and revenge. Information towards that person, because some of you might actually know my beautiful ex-husband. I have only love for him, and except when the patterns try to tell me again that that he didn't want me anymore and he wanted a divorce, and why didn't he want me? So that's when my approval-seeking pattern comes up. But now it's just a few moments mostly, and I can go back into remembering, right, I gotta draw information from the universe. Remember that? Let me have a look. It should be there. Yes, I managed to save it. So when you, hello, there. Hello. So when you remember there's this person, you are this chi person in the middle, okay? So when you remember to expand out and that you are the chi field. Someone's microphone just came on. Sorry, it startled me a little bit. Can you please turn off your microphones? So when you coming out from there, when the info, oh, now we can't see it. You draw information from here. Let me use a different color just so you see it. So for now, I'm just gonna pick green. So when you draw information in from the universe now, and you draw the great big love of the universe and the totality and the awareness that there will be definite reasons for why the person behaves this way, but you don't need to identify with any of the information from here or from that surrounding or from there. No, you draw information from the universe, from here, and then you color everything up. You become the universe, you unify yourself, and you are this chi person in the middle, which now you can't see anymore. Let me draw the chi person again in a different color. So you are the chi person in the midst of everything, and you're constantly drawing information from the universe and not from here, here, or here. This is what will make you go back into the state of safety. This is what will bring you back into the possibility to go back into a Wushin state. The awareness outside of self will get you out of victimhood, and you can try forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others is important. if you don't have oneness. That's another way of doing it. But you can also try to expand out, immediately make your heart one with the big size of the universe. And that's when you will connect with the laws of that everything changes, that the, you know, that you can transform everything to the better and healthier. And this is where we then find out that there is no bad information out there. That right now we humans are where we are, and that we are progressing. And when you, as this one person, is doing that, is going into the state of love and understanding and realization of oneness, and you are being in the state of love and you radiating love out, then it will become a circle, so opposite to the vicious circle before, unhealthy information, hate going into yourself, you either responding with the fighting for dominance or defending mechanism, or into the fear and withdrawn, hiding and avoiding, or fighting back because of the fear, going back into fighting, resentment, revenge. Then it will just keep going forward and forward, and that information will become more and more and more. Yeah, I always like to use this little how do you call it, analogy of when you paint a picture with brushes and you put the brush into the red color and then go to the canvas and you paint red, you will not receive a green picture. But if you want to draw a green picture, let's say green is love for now, then you can't keep choosing the red color. So we can't keep choosing the state of defense, protectiveness, self-centeredness, victimhood. We have to understand that there will be reasons for why you are in the position that you're experiencing those. And past information is reasons, and the patterns that have formed from that are reasons too. And this is why you're sending out this information, and that's why it is coming your way. When you send out red, you will receive red. When you send out love, so let's take yellow because it's more shiny. When you send out yellow, you will receive yellow. Yeah. The universe is bright. The universe is whitish yellow, as far as I know, and very bright whitish, super bright. And so when you go into that state and you draw information from there, so let's say this is the planet, yeah? And so you don't draw information from the planet Earth or from that and that person or from that and that group. You go out and you draw information directly from the universe at all times. It's actually it's not trespassing. How do you say that in English? You are saturating. That's what the word I'm searching. You are actually saturating as you draw information from out here, and you're drawing it towards you. The information of love, totality, respect, Gongqing, gratitude. You're drawing all of that love towards you, and the knowledge and the realization that everything is good the way it is, and especially you going into that state, you even influence others as you draw Qi in. And in some cases you can even observe it, and in other cases we might not have enough awareness yet to observe the change that you have actually created, but you can know that for sure. Yeah? So all we need is love, the state of love, the state of the 5 Shin at all times, and the understanding of our human needs, the fundamental qualities we need to cover. And because they're not covered, that's when unhealthy patterns become. And so these are the ones who make us identify with other things. So coming back to the email, there's another aspect to that. So the writer was talking about a sense of responsibility. So there's another aspect within the question, actually, the sense of responsibility. What if you are so sensitive? So many of you who have done Renshui for many years have made the experience that we're becoming more and more sensitive. So we can pick up information more and more. Because the special abilities are developing, the special ability of receiving information directly. It's called direct sensing, direct thinking. As a direct receiving information. So many people who are very sensitive and who haven't had, well, I'm going to call it the knowledge of Renshui, of the Renshui system, because I have been looking, me personally, I've been traveling for 20 years looking for someone who could explain to me what's going on with me, and especially who could help me resolve it. And so I only found Yanze to have these answers, and Yanze sharing them so freely and supporting us all and me in this journey to be able to circumvent avoiding and hiding, in my case, this running away from it. And he just always knew how to support me so I could keep working and applying and keep growing, not running anymore. So me personally, I found this information in its totality so far only within the Renshui system and from Yanze himself. But if you found it somewhere else, that's fine. We're not opposed to that. And we're also not saying Renshui is the best. This is just one of my observations that for now, I have found answers for every of the questions I had all my life before meeting Yanze. And also knowing that now there will be answers, having found and being the tools to establish trust, to know if there's no answer yet, I will receive the answer when I have done all the necessary work and removed all the obstacles so that the information can come to me that I needed or was looking, or that I was missing, or it's not too much anymore. It's more like clearing the patterns now when they fire back up. So where was I? I just went so far into a state of oneness. I've forgotten what I'm talking about. Right. So the information that you can, that you receive in this chi field, and that to unify with that, and so you're expanding, and realizing more and more. That will put you in the state of love, and you will be painting pictures of love everywhere, and you will be influencing everything around you with love, more and more and more. And so life will get better and brighter, and the world will become a brighter place. So to repeat, because this is really quite important, we practice Tien Yuan, the first method, and Di Yuan, and Ren Yuan, and Sha Yuan, the fourth method. and we practice Yuan and Yuan, the fifth and sixth method. We practice them to experience, to be something other than only our body, to realize that the self is not just that's within the body. And then you start, having more and more empathy and more sensitivity, and you will be more and more available to receiving information. And because you are more and more in the state of love and in the state of Wu Xin, the 5 Xin qualities, the 5 heart qualities, you will be more and more able to clear information. We could call it that you are clearing information from others, but when you're there, you won't see it as that anymore, because you will not completely identify with the other being another. You will be having the awareness to be one unity. That you can clear information from others. So, and once you are understanding this responsibility from that perspective that we talked about today, then another beautiful thing is happening, because you also will understand that you do not have to identify with the information from others. In other words, you will not have to feel the pain anymore. You might become aware of some pain. For example, remember, like with me and the headaches of this other woman, in the moment when I managed to remember to not identify with the pain, and that even with all the observing inside, internally within me, why I would have that pain, I was looking into my patterns. How had I behaved that day or the day before or the week before? I went through everything and I could not figure out why I had this splitting headache. And so this took me a few moments, how Shen is very fast. And then I was like, okay, trust. I will find out what this is about. It doesn't concern me anymore. I don't identify with it anymore. And whoop, that's when the pain went. That's what we mean when we talk about do not identify, that there's no need to identify with. So, and this is interesting because here comes another pattern. First of all, a fundamental pattern of, it's called stubbornness, which has to do with the unwillingness to change or fear of change. And it's like to understand that you do not have to suffer when others suffer. So this is also overgeneralization, to mix yourself up through the false self and thinking that it is not right for others to suffer when you don't have to suffer anymore. But is your pain really your pain? Are you sure that your pain doesn't come from someone else, something else? Is it necessary for you to identify with that problem so strong that you think it is your problem, or that it is unsolvable, or that it is such strong pain, it's such a big problem that it makes you unhappy? Believe me, it sounds very easy. It is not, because patterns are so fire quick. Yeah, they're so quick that all you feel is the pain. All you feel is the fear. All you fear is the rage, maybe the sense of defending yourself against injustice. Example, when you would be the receiver of racism, for example. we are clearing a little bit the information for all of humanity today. I mean, at least we're doing our best, right? And so, have you maybe thought about that the information we are working on today, we are also sending it out into the universe, and it will go through, it will saturate other humans' consciousnesses and their hearts. And maybe someone today discovers that they don't want to be a skinhead anymore, or in any other way hateful. Yeah? Not only us, we are sitting in this web class, all of humanity um, are being put into a chi person. And well, at least I put them in my heart, put us all in the heart that I am. Um, in words, it's a little bit more complex to express these things. So when you're practicing Tianyuan, this is what we practice over and over and over again, and over and over and over again. Right, I'm the universe. Oh, that's right, I'm the universe. I can draw information from there. I can draw the original healthy state from there and become that, because that's what I am. I can remove the boundaries of my body and of the confinements of some smallish space or an I. I can remove it and become everything. And when I can look at everything, I can then, no problem that I take over the responsibility and clear this pain. If it is mine or not, doesn't matter. I'm just going to clear it anyway. And I can clear it through drawing chi to it, making it flow, and putting better information in it, replace and transform the information through looking at it from a total perspective. I am pain-free, I am fine, I am healthy, so is everybody else. No matter what this is, I can clear it. When you have, for example, let's say you have an illness, a symptom that many, many humans on the planet Earth have. How do you know you're not picking up on all of their pain as well, because you have become so sensitive? So how does it help to identify with it only with yourself? Or how does it help to see yourself as a victim instead of, oh yeah, I can do this, I can help everybody right now. I am clearing this, I am transforming this for all of us. Have you ever tried that? You can go ahead and try that with a lot of conviction, with a true thought. A true thought comes from the heart, and the true self from deep inside, with complete conviction and confidence, deep trust. And you will get to see the results of that. So what you choose to identify with is what you will get to experience. And if one chooses to identify as a victim more or less conscious, if you still have the need to stand up for yourself, or be in a state of fighting, have the need to dominate, to control, to interfere in any way, and to forget about the state of action from non-action, then there is room to expand. It's important to not fall into the pattern of polarized thinking here now, yeah, of thinking, well, but something. The mind comes always up with something. Yeah. This is why we've looked at one of the earlier web classes to have the fundamental information in here. We looked at the 10 fundamental qualities of human nature, meaning the things that are our needs in order to live healthy, happy, and to be able to contribute. You are allowed to cover your needs. More so, this is our responsibility as a human being to take care of ourselves, of our needs, whatever the self is, of course. But yeah, we are in the body, so it is part of totality. You're not only the universe, you are also a manifestation within a form of body, and that body needs food. It needs sleep or rest in some form. It needs some form of elimination. It needs some protection from uh, the wind and the cold and the heat, etc., etc. Yeah. So important is there's no absolute in the universe, right? Everything is constantly changing, and everything is part of the whole. And safety is important. So if you are in a unsafe environment, that's not how what Janssen meant. With I lay down, you win. On the other hand, you can do some more thinking on that for yourself. When you think about when you go into the state of love and you send that out, imagine you manage to do that in a really what seems to be a scary moment. Let's say someone is attacking you, really full of hate. Have a thought within a state of, in a very deep state, in a deep state of unification, and think about what might happen if you go into a state of no resistance, of full openness, no fear, complete love. And changing that. So this is what Janse once taught me when we were in a really difficult situation in our marriage, my beautiful ex-husband and I. And, there were many unhealthy patterns on both sides. And then, you know, my old pattern showed up, seemingly the need to be physically harmed. And I received help from Janse then, and I received a big talk on victimhood. It was years ago, and our marriage changed completely after that, and became very peaceful and very harmonious. So it is a very powerful experience when you are in this state of fear and the threat, but you manage inside to turn it around into the state of love. It was magical. It was magnificent. It was amazing. And so I am pretty sure we're onto something here, all of us together. Yeah. And you can apply that to everything. It doesn't need to be physical violence. It can be the person now that has shared this week with me will know what I'm talking about. It can be that someone else's wedding photos are also being taken, not only from your photographer, where you might feel some victimhood from. Yeah. So that's a cute little example. So now the chi field is really light and beautiful, and everybody is eager to love. So let's look at the first and second stage of Tong Yuan love. First, we will nurture and develop love, and then we will look at examining and deepening love and what that all encompasses. So please lay down, relax completely. If you can relax very well while you sit up, you can stay sitting up. And we are going to practice Tong Yuan now. Make yourself one and listen with your heart. And maybe relate everything to your true self. Let me just blow my nose for 1 second. Gonna mute you. So we're first going to do the preparation for Tong Yuan. Tong Yuan is the method of life cultivation that uses focus Qing and Shen, cultivate Xinling. Adjust your body and posture according to how you feel. Draw back your vision and gently close your eyes. If you're sitting upright, lift Ho Yin to lower Dantian. Place your hands wherever you would like them for this practice. And try to relax the whole body so that your qi and blood can flow smoothly and your body can feel very comfortable. Be calm. Relax. Awareness in lower dantian. Breathe inside lower dantian. The mind is calm and peaceful. Now let's use the 6 verses to adjust Shen and Yi. Build the Qi field with your heart and the Qi field that will provide nourishment for your whole life. Awareness inside the body. Feel the emptiness and spaciousness within. Expand the awareness out, becoming one with the universe. Draw the awareness back to the Qi-filled body. calm and peaceful. Open to the universe with reverence and utmost Gongqing. Let the bright universe nurture the heart with compassion and love. You feel relaxed, free, and joyful, and Qi is flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Keep your body, Qi and Shen, unified. Feel your connection with nature and the love and support from the Qi field and the universe. There's always information and love from the universe streaming into you. Feel the calmness and harmony inside your Qi-filled body. Now your body, your Qi, your Shen Yi are all unified in your heart. From this moment on, everything you do in this practice will be from your heart. Utmost beauty, goodness, and wisdom of your true nature are shining in your heart. You are going to follow the call of your true nature with an open heart. Begin to communicate freely with your own heart. It is a heart-to-heart conversation between you and yourself, and you and everything beyond. Let's follow the Kai Shin verse with a sincere heart to open our heart. Heaven, earth, and human are all teachers with infinite wisdom. I open my Shin Men to trust and love them unconditionally. With gratitude in my heart, I receive the bright light of their love and wisdom and unify with it. My Shen, Yi, and Shin are fully aligned with the light of Tao. With Gongqing, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Pay attention to the changes inside your heart. Feel every subtle change there. Feel the indescribable vitality and creativity there. Feel what it is to be totally unified with everything. Tell yourself, I am ready. I am ready to welcome a different me every day. Everything is changing from moment to moment. I do believe my inner world can be revitalized and all the darkness can be dispelled if my heart so desires. My heart can become kinder and cleaner, more harmonious and beautiful, brighter and wiser. I am ready to look into my heart for trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gongqing, the 5 most important qualities for a human heart. I am ready to get to know my heart, and I am willing to continue to cultivate these qualities and my Xinling. I am determined to love and take good care of my Xinling and my life and everything beyond. I know what I am doing, and the call from my heart is becoming louder and clearer. I am ready. Nurturing and developing love. Love, a very common word. I have heard it countless times. But what a word! It is a special word that moves my heart. A word I look forward to hearing. A word that inspires me like nothing else. A word that is so beautiful and sacred. Love is indispensable, like sunshine and air. However, as with sunshine and air, we can get too used to love and lose sight of its true value. What on earth is love? What does it mean to me? It's time to explore. I have experienced so many kinds of love. Love for myself, love for other people, love for friends, love for family members, love for nature. Love is a very important part of my life. My heart needs love. Love to my heart is like food to my body. It keeps my heart alive and healthy. My heart is also the source of love. Everybody's heart is. Love is a valuable treasure I cherish dearly. My heart is eager to show its love. Love is the sunshine in deep winter. Love can make a starving, freezing person feel warm. Love is the fresh spring in the desert. It gives a dying person hope. Love is a lighthouse. It can help a boat that has gotten lost in the dark night find its way back to safe harbor. Love is the rainbow in the sky. It helps people who feel only gloom see the beauty of the world. Love is an instinct. My heart eagerly wants to love. It is my nature to love. I also want to be loved and to feel loved. It's my right to love and to be loved. I am entitled to love as much as I can, and I deserve to enjoy the love I receive to the fullest extent. Love is not only a pleasant feeling, but also a positive, uplifting power. True love leads to positive changes and well-being. Love is an ability. It is not just what I say, it is even more what I do. It is an art to love. It is also an art to be loved. Love is a natural thing, but it also takes a lot of practice. My heart is telling me that there is a lot more I can do for love. Where do I start? Undoubtedly, the best place to start is with myself. Loving myself is not only essential for my own well-being, it is also the foundation for loving others. It is only when my love for myself has led to positive changes in my own life that my love for others will bring true and positive changes to theirs. I love my body. Every part of it needs my love. My body is an indispensable part of my life. It has worked hard for me all of my life without asking anything in return. It has made it possible for me to experience all that I experience. Without my body, I cannot see, hear, smell, taste, or touch. Without it, I cannot feel the joy I feel. My life couldn't be what it is without my body. Loving my body is loving myself. Harming my body is harming myself. I love every part of my body unreservedly, no matter what. In sickness or in health, it is perfect as it is. There is nothing to complain about. Nothing will change my love for my body. Not when I feel good, not when I feel sad. My love for my body is unconditional. I also love my chi. Chi is my life force. It keeps me alive and healthy. It nourishes my body and my Shen. Without it, my body and Shen cannot function properly. I love my Shen. Its intelligence and abilities have served me one lifetime after another. My Shen is me. It gives me the opportunity to develop all kinds of potential and to uplift myself. Together, my body, Qi and Shen have given me an amazing life. They all deserve the best love and care I have to give. My love for my body, Qi and Shen, forbids me to do things that could harm them. Anything causing harm should be discontinued. It is my responsibility to take good care of them. I love this special life. Every part of my life has its own awareness that receives my love as nourishment and responds with positive changes. True love will always lead to positive changes. Am I loving myself in a way that makes my life better? Is my love leading to more happiness and freedom and a stronger sense of well-being? These are questions I will keep asking in my effort to love myself. Love is an exploration that I can never exhaust. an assignment that will take the rest of my life to complete. My ability and capacity to love can only keep growing. Love is an inexhaustible resource. The more I love, the more love will be generated. There is always enough love to share. My life is part of the totality and closely connected with each and every part in it. Loving myself is loving all. My love is to be shared with all. Loving all is also loving myself. Love is a serious undertaking. It is an essential part of cultivating my Xinling. Loving myself properly is absolutely necessary for knowing how to love others properly. I love and care for my family and friends. They are important people in my life, and they love me dearly. I will continue to show my care and unconditional love for them. Each day I will love everyone I encounter. A friendly look or a smile on my face can convey my love to them and warm their hearts. I can see the beauty of their hearts through their eyes. I love every gift Mother Nature gives us. The beautiful sunshine sprinkled through the leaves, the fresh air with the scent of flowers, the river that carries clean water down the hills, the many lives that thrive in the forests. All of them are miracles of nature's love. I recognize I am part of nature, and that loving nature means loving myself and vice versa. I want my love and good intention to be felt in everything I do, every word I say, and every gaze of my eyes. This also means showing my understanding, care, trust, support, and forgiveness. I will keep vigilant of the activities of my heart. Whenever there is any sign of discontent, resentment, indifference, or even hatred, I know it is my heart crying out for nutrients. I will immediately make an adjustment and find love once again in my heart. I also need to keep an eye on my heart when it has the urge to revert to its old ways. This could be to complain, to control, or to be critical. Or it could be when I am being judgmental or prejudiced. Their appearance is a sign that my heart is getting cold due to the absence of love. Immediately restoring love is the best action for me to take. My heart is filled with love. I feel natural and free. I feel complete. I am like a dolphin swimming joyfully in water, or a bird flying without a care in the sky. I need love. The world needs love. Love will make the world a better place. Every bit of love I show will add to the amount of love going round. It will spread to many people and become stronger and brighter. Love will brighten up the world. My heart is shining with love. Love is life, and life is love. Love is as essential for life as food and water. Love is an immense magical power. It can create miracles. I am fully committed to loving myself and loving the world. Love is growing stronger in my heart. Examining and deepening love. Love has been growing in my heart. With the work I have done on cultivating love and developing my Xinling, I can now feel more love in my heart and enjoy the benefits it has brought to my life. As love grows in my heart, my whole life undergoes change. I feel more contentment and joy, and I am more stable emotionally. I am able to be more understanding, patient, and forgiving. I feel more strength and vitality. My connection with people has deepened, and I find it easier to express my true feelings. I receive more love and care from others. The world has become a warmer place. I love all these positive changes. I am confident that my work on love will continue to deepen and that love will continue to grow in my heart. Although challenges can be expected, I can clearly see that with good effort, I will be able to overcome them and expect a better tomorrow. The work on love continues. Now my aim is to keep love in my heart constantly and cultivate unconditional love. My love for myself should always come first. I need to be aware of how I treat myself. When I truly love myself, I won't put myself down. I won't be critical or disapprove of myself. I won't push myself too hard. I won't neglect my needs. I won't allow my unhealthy habits to take control. I will take good care of myself. I will appreciate myself. I need to be aware of my heart, especially when it is showing indifference or apathy towards others. Likewise, when love is conveyed to me, I need to be aware of my response. Whether I hold any discomfort, resistance, or even fear. What is stopping me from fully embracing and enjoying the love from others? When my heart cannot feel others' sorrow or cannot be touched by others' love, I need to wake it up. My heart is nurtured when there is love. On the other hand, it is torn and tarnished when it is occupied by apathy or hatred. The choice is simple and clear. It can only be love. I will hold love in my heart constantly. Love will facilitate my work on trust, openness, gratitude, and Gongqing. With love in my heart, it feels very natural for me to be kind, friendly, caring, generous, understanding, compassionate, accommodating, and forgiving. All these are manifestations of my genuine love. Do I tend to evaluate whether the love I give outweighs the love I receive in return? Too much calculation ruins true love. Love is not a business deal. When my love is not appreciated or well received, I will not take it personally or let it extinguish the love I hold in my heart. My heart is like the sun, and my love is the sunshine. Even when its light is blocked, the sun continues to shine. True love does not hurt, it heals. True love does not hurt, it heals. A hurt lingering in my memory should not be a reason for not loving again. Both loving and receiving love are part of my learning. Whenever a difficulty arises, I will see it as a lesson, something necessary if I am to make headway. The path of love I am on will get broader and broader. I no longer doubt love because I now realize where it comes from. When my heart is closed and cold and overtaken by indifference or hatred, the outer world I see is exactly like that too. I then can only see a world full of cruelty and heartless fighting. On the other hand, when my heart is full of love, the world I see is full of sunshine, vitality, and hope. My internal world determines the outer world I see. It is not the other way around. Who can clear the anger, resentment, or hatred I hold? I can. How? With love and understanding for myself and for others. How should I react to someone who looks down on me, who harshly criticizes me, who is rude or even mean to me? I won't let them bother me. I will try to understand them and forgive them. Their hearts need nourishment and healing just like mine. If any action is necessary, it will be undertaken in a calm and peaceful way. I will no longer get entangled in conflicts between loss and gain, right and wrong, love and hate. I will rise above them and see life in a new light of love and totality. There is no need to be attached to old ideas when they no longer serve my life. It is time to disengage from my love affair with these unhealthy patterns. Unconditional love is what my heart desires. My heart will also be filled with love for myself, the world, and Mother Nature. I feel fortunate that I can cultivate this pure and selfless love, and I feel grateful that I can unify with the great compassion of the universe. It is my sincerest wish that everyone in the world will be immersed in the vibrant and bright sunshine of love. To end the practice, focus on the changes inside your heart now. Feel the totality of your life. Feel the chi field, the dense chi and information of love in the chi field. With your hands or consciousness, draw the precious chi and information back to your chi filled body and to your heart, so that love will continue to grow inside you and make your life better and brighter. Draw chi back to lower dantian. Quietly nourish chi. Gently rub your hands together to gather chi in your hands and do the head and face yourself. from now on, for the rest of your life, remember to open out your heart and your consciousness. Open out into your true self. Open out into the universe where there is the original information, the pure information, and the original state of harmony and balance. Out there is the original strength and power of love, and how everything is a manifestation of love. So when you are in pain or in fear, open out and draw information directly from the universe. Remind yourself to open out and remind yourself to draw information from there. Then you will be able to transform everything into love and Wushin. It takes practice and repetition and effort. But what you will receive will be way bigger. I thank you so much for your contribution. And I'm looking forward to deepening calm with you next week. Yuan, Tong, Ming.